Good morning. It is my great honor to be here at Viet AI. I first learned about talent when I was teaching at Carnegie Mellon University. Of course, Duke was my student, and I saw such amazing talent. And so it's so great to see so many wonderful people here investing in technology and AI for the future. I think it's wonderful. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we've been working on since I joined Toyota. But first, I like to think about human activity. So people for thousands of years have been moving and building things, communicating and thinking. And of course, Toyota's been making transportation technology that allows people to move much further and faster than they could otherwise. And in order to do that, they've been using robots and manufacturing to build things with precision and scale that you could never build before. And of course, all of us have gone through the information technology revolution, dramatically changing the way people communicate all over the world. And of course, what is next is tools for AI, how to help people think. And this will dramatically transform the future. So if you think about what is the most complicated machine that humans have built, people would say it's clearly the computer. But it isn't just the computer. Now it's an entire data center. Millions of connected CPUs that are the largest computing resource that humans have created. In fact, you cannot build a computer today without a computer. But I would argue that the connection between the physical world and the digital world is a true challenge for the future. How to build a machine that can actually impact the physical world. And so robotics have been a grand challenge, and I believe in the future we will be able to take advantage of the cloud. This concept of cloud robotics and artificial intelligence and AI technology will dramatically transform the future of connected cars and connected robots. So a lot of automated driving came as a grand challenge, and I think it's a wonderful way to inspire researchers to try new things. And that's why Viet AI sponsoring grand challenges, I think, is really fantastic with Cambria and so on. But I was working on Carnegie Mellon's effort, and then shortly thereafter joined about 10 years ago Google's team to build the self-driving car. And at that time, we only used Toyota cars because the hybrid synergy drive was a perfect platform. You could attach sensors and computing, and everything would work very well. And about 3 years ago, suddenly there's a huge explosion in interest of activity of companies investing in this technology. And within 1 year, there were hundreds of companies working on this technology. And the question is why? And I think there's actually two answers. The first answer is, of course, the incredible progress in data-driven AI. Deep learning is now poised to overtake manual programming in terms of capability. So that is one reason. Another reason is that if you can build a self-driving car, you could make a true driverless taxi, which has a huge market potential. Some people say $1 trillion US worldwide annually. So that is the reason why people are interested in this technology. So Toyota has been making automated looms for 100 years ago, and they actually pivoted to making cars about 80 years ago. And they're realizing that once in 100 years, transportation is now changing. 100 years ago, everyone rode a horse. But now, of course, people use automobiles, or in Vietnam, a lot of bikes. But this is really changing now, and of course, it's connectivity, it's autonomy, sharing, and electrification. So all four is now changing the transportation. And another thing that is happening is, especially in the developed world, the populations are aging. So many people are becoming too old to drive. And when you are too old and you can no longer drive, you lose a lot of freedom. And the quality of your life can go down for many, many old people. And so this is happening in many countries. And last year we created a new company in Tokyo, which is trying to bring this technology from the research stage to the product. And I'd like to share a little bit about our company and give you a sneak preview of some of the things we are working on. So first, our company is a joint venture between Toyota and Denso and Aishin to gather the best software engineers, artificial intelligence researchers, and vehicle engineers together to make new technology for the world. And this is a sneak preview of our product, which will come out next year, 2020. Okay, so this is a prototype car that will be released next year, but I'd like to give a little bit about under the hood, what are the technology we are building for this. So this is going to be a powerful supercomputer, the best advances in low power, high performance computing, and it will also be very perceptive. So we know that humans can drive with just 2 cameras and 30 watt of power, carbon-based. But this will be 360-degree multimodal sensors. And also, it's going to be upgradable. Just like smartphones of today, customers expect that the software will improve and get better over time. So all of this is about trying to create mobility for everyone. That includes people who cannot drive. As I mentioned, if you become too old to drive, and someday that will be me, I would like to still be able to have freedom of mobility. And so I want to show you also what we are building at the Toyota Research Institute in Silicon Valley and in Boston, which is our Platform 4. And this is intended to be a test course for a demonstration we will do to the public next year at a big event in Tokyo. And the goal is to create a car that can drive completely autonomously level 4. Level 5, as you know, is to drive anywhere a human can drive. No map, with any weather, any traffic condition. And I can tell you right now, nobody's even close to that performance. Okay, but level 4 means you start to restrict it. You say it's going to be lower speed. It's going to be in dedicated lanes or different traffic, let's say during daytime, good weather. And so we're trying to basically build a system that will be capable of level 4 driving in Tokyo. So this is an example of some of the challenges in Tokyo. And in order to test it, we've actually created this test course in Michigan, in the United States, that has Japanese traffic lights and Japanese infrastructure to test. The software, with one change, can drive on the right-hand side of the road or the left-hand side of the road, so it can hopefully drive anywhere. And what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about under the hood, what's in that prototype. So this prototype is meant to have automated driving with cameras and learning. So we call radical. And that means it's going to have LiDARs, radars, cameras, and fuse all that information together so that you can get an accurate understanding of the world. That means that you have to synthesize together all of that data to create an understanding of the surrounding traffic. And this is an example of some of the data that we are fusing together to try and get a good understanding of the traffic environment safely. And then another thing is that after you drive the car once, you can process the data and use localization and mapping to build a very accurate construction of the road surface so that then you can drive it and understand the next time you drive. Of course, one of the difficulties is, how do you keep this map updated? And this is where I think there's a huge potential for innovation, is how to understand the world in real time and update the map in real time. Finally, I think there's an amazing possibility for future AI and advancement in computer vision to create very robust understanding of what part of the scene is a roadway, what part is a pedestrian, what part is a car, and then combine everything into a system that can be used to plan. This is using a lot of deep learning, and I'm proud to say that our company is partnering with Vietnamese companies to help do data labeling for this task. Another thing is, how do you actually get very good three-dimensional understanding? And if you look at the top half of this image, this shows 3D shape matching from just 2D images, and then combining it with 3D detections from LiDAR. And together, you can get very reliable three-dimensional pose estimation for traffic. And I think this will be very important for reliability and robustness. And finally, how do you test that your system is working well? I think this is also a big open challenge in AI. How to understand whether or not your system will always work in many, many different situations. And so we are trying to build a cloud-based infrastructure. And we have actually open sourced our simulation platform called Carla, which is, I believe, going to be hopefully very useful for the community in research. But we basically want to drive virtually millions or billions of miles before we release the product to customers. How are we going to actually make a bridge between the research and development that TRI is making, and also the products, the mass production that Toyota is trying to bring to the customers. And that is, of course, our company, TRI-AD. We are located in Tokyo, but we are collaborating with companies all around the world, internationally, and I would love to explore other partnerships from some of the great innovative companies that are happening here in Vietnam as well. How do we work? It starts by building the proof of concept. The researchers work together. We have partnerships with Stanford University, MIT, University of Michigan to build the proof of concept, and then our company tries to make something that we could mass produce, a pre-production vehicle. And then we work together to mature the software and also mature the technical capability from the simulation as well as the machine learning. And then we build a mass production product. But it doesn't end there, because we can now update wirelessly the software. So that means it can get better over time. So the Toyota as a company has been building hardware, and the Toyota Production System, or TPS, is world-renowned for producing reliable, cost-efficient hardware. And what I would like to do is create the equivalent for software. How can we build bug-free software of this type of complexity? And I believe it comes down to good processes, code reviews, continuous integration testing, CI pipelines using Jenkins, nice code repositories like GitHub, all cloud-based, simulation for testing, and hopefully that will allow software engineers anywhere to develop very good, high-quality code for the future. And it doesn't end with just a normal, traditional car. What I'm really excited about is that I believe that in the future there will be many forms of mobility. Electric small vehicles, e-scooters, bikes, and that means the cities of our future will change because we have this new technology for AI. So I'm very happy that Viet AI is promoting this innovation in a country like Vietnam. And I came to Vietnam the first time in the spring as a tourist with my family, and I loved it. It was so beautiful, and the food was great. But I realized the most valuable resource of Vietnam is the Vietnamese people. So I'm so happy that Viet AI is educating and investing, and I would like our company to work together for the future. So thank you very much. I think we have time for a couple questions, but if anybody would like to get a job in Tokyo, please talk to me too. So thank you.